Good morning, ICF. Come on, let's do a lot better than that. Good morning, ICF. We have a blessed opportunity today. I have this chance where I get to introduce a really good friend of mine. He's like my brother. We've known each other since like our early to mid-20s or so. In case you didn't know, I'm not that young. Quite older than that now. If you saw pictures of us when we used to hang out and run youth camps, you'd laugh because when we met each other, Pastor Alex had dreadlocks. And so he was this young adult minister who was serving in interim as a youth minister at the time, right? And so he was this youth minister with dreadlocks and I was this youth pastor with tattoos. Except now he doesn't have dreadlocks. Now he's the associate pastor at Praise Christian Church in Bayonne under Tim Lepasana. He has a wife, Allison, who's not with us today because she is 37 weeks pregnant and she already started having contractions on Friday. So he's pretty much going straight to the hospital from here. He also told me to get ready. He said, just in case it happens, he's like, you got to be ready to preach in case I can't be there. He told me this yesterday. So I was like, thanks. I'm going to make fun of you before you come up. So without further ado, we're going to find out what God's calling him to and how we can partner with him in ministry. And then he's going to bring the word, and I'm excited to have him here, guys. Let's give a hand for my buddy, Pastor Alex G.T. Leonardo.
Good morning, church. You know, when I was sitting there, I was saying to myself, these are really awkward steps. But now I know why. They're not steps, they're platform, they're meant for the choir, but it was just something that I was looking at and I thought they were quite interesting. But that was just a side note I wanted to say. But good morning, church. I am blessed to be here. like Pastor AJ said, we've known each other for quite a while. We were both youth pastors. Now we're associate pastor. Living the life, have enough responsibilities to feel good about ourselves, but not enough that we worry like the seniors pastors do. And so we are so thankful to be associate pastors. Amen. One of the reasons that I've been invited to this church is to share something that the Lord has impressed upon me and my wife. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here. Like Pastor AJ said, she's 36 weeks, 37, and contracting, not yet at the hospital. My brother's on call just in case. So I don't have to run to the hospital unless she is in labor. But the Lord has placed upon us a vision or a calling to go to Italy and to live there. And to do the work of missions, to become missionaries, to church plant. And what's unique about our calling is that we're not going to Italy specifically to reach out Italians. We're actually going there to reach Filipinos in Italy. And so this is a call to reaching Filipinos in Italy. Why Filipinos? If we go to the next slide. Why specifically Filipinos in Italy? Why not Filipinos in the Philippines or Filipinos here? There's many Filipinos in the U.S. But why specifically Italy? Well, I have two reasons that the Lord impressed upon us. The first one is a biblical reason. In Mark 5:19, it says, Jesus said, "Go home to your own people." See, there was a man who had demons. He was demon-possessed, and the Lord rescues him. And then all of a sudden, this guy's super excited, and he's like, "Lord, I want to follow you. I want to be like these 12 disciples that they follow you. Can I come with you? Can I, I don't have anything else to do. Can I be one of your followers?" And you would think Jesus is like, "Yeah, absolutely. Come on, let's go." Jesus says, "No. Go home to your own people and tell them how much the Lord has done for you and how he had mercy on you." And so the Lord gave him a specific task to turn around, go back home, and share it to his own people. And it's kind of giving me that, although in that moment it was instant. For us, it took a while. And what do I mean for us? My wife and I, first for me, I'm Italian and Filipino. A lot of people don't know that, don't see that, but I am. My mom's Filipina, my dad's Italian. I was born in the Philippines, but actually I was raised in Italy for almost 10 years, and then we migrated here to the U.S. My wife instead was born in the U.S., but then moved right after she was born to the Philippines and was raised there until she came to college in the U.S., where she came to know the Lord, where I came to know the Lord also in college, and then we both met at the church. So the Lord's really calling us to go to our own people and reach our own people. And so that would be the Filipinos in Italy. The second reason, if we go to the next slide, is there are about 170,000 registered, and I say that again, registered Filipinos in Italy. And so there's most likely a lot more. 170,000. And what are they doing there? Well, they go there for purposes of work, to make money to send back home. Now, people do that here in the U.S. A lot of Filipinos, I'm part of a church, First Christian Church is almost made up of about, let's say, 95% Filipinos. So I know the stories of a lot of Filipinos families that migrate to the U.S. for the same reasons, to make money. But there's a big difference. In the U.S., Filipinos have the opportunity to change the way their lifestyle is in comparison to what it is in the Philippines. So coming here, you can study to become a nurse, or maybe you've studied being a nurse in the Philippines, coming here and then taking the NCLEX and so on. So there's a lot of Filipinos who establish, have a good income and their social status. When it comes to Italy, given that the language is not English, it's Italian, that is almost a zero possibility for Filipinos there. So Filipinos are mostly working domestic workers. They make very little money. They work very many hours. And all they do is work and send money to the Philippines. They are treated like second to third class citizens. Italians don't even acknowledge them. And so these are Filipinos who come, and of course, what they do in order to survive is they form communities. and they come together. But the problem is that a lot of times when they form communities, they're not really forming faith communities. They're just trying to stick together and eat together and fellowship together, but really no opportunity to grow together. And why do I say that? Because there are none or very little Filipino pastors there, or even Italian pastors willing to reach Filipinos. And the reason is because Italy is one of the most spiritually dead countries, believe it or not. I know the Vatican's there. I know it's hard to believe for some people, but it is considered one of the most spiritually dead places. So when Italians have a heart to reach people, they, of course, are naturally inclined to reach Italians. And so there's a people group, the Filipinos, who are just being neglected, who are being overlooked. And I have gone there to check out churches, and the very few Filipino churches that exist there are run by pastors who need to work a secular job in order to legally be there. And so they're overworked, and they are pastoring multiple churches. And I'm not talking about he's pastoring this church and maybe another church down the road or maybe another church across the city. We're talking about state lines. They literally cross states, take trains to go and pastor. So you could go to a church, as we did, and ask, where's your pastor? Oh, no, he's not here this Sunday. He's in another church. Because there's just not many pastors. And so you have that dynamic. Now, the Lord is specifically calling us to a specific region, right? We can't go all over. When the Lord put that in our hearts, my brother is a missionary to Italians, and he is by Naples, Salerno. Last year we went to visit him, and we noticed how many Filipinos were there, and we asked him the questions, who's reaching them? And he said, to be honest, no one. We don't know anyone. So when the Lord put that in us, we went in May to do a vision trip, and one of our pastors, who's part of the GBA association, which your church is part of, said, hey, there's a church, or there's a group of people that meets outside of Rome, about 20 miles away of Rome, about 20 minutes by train, that is a Filipino group, faithful, but they don't have a pastor. Would you be willing to check it out? And so that's what we did. And so this is a church in Lazio. It's called Cisterna di Latina. And it's a group. It's called Living Word. And I was blown away when we went there. I have done, as AJ said, I was a youth pastor, but right after we met, I actually became the young adult pastor. I've been the pastor for young adults for about 7 years before I became associate pastor. And so when I went there, I was blown away to see these young people, young adults, who were on fire for the Lord. Because I've worked with young adults, and a lot of times they weren't on fire for the Lord, but these people were so hungry for the Word, and it just got me excited, and they just wanted a pastor. And I've been praying to go to Italy for that reason, and so the Lord really is meeting both our needs.